By day, you work at a job that simply doesn't satisfy you. It's likely not a career, but simply a job. It pays the bills. It puts food on the table. But it doesn't light a fire inside of you. It doesn't fill you with a sense of, I can do it. It just is. But then there's the nighttime, when the rest of the world winds down. In the late, dark hours of the evening, a creative fire gets stoked inside you. The wheels of your brain kick in, the ideas start flowing. You feel a sense of excitement and adventure. You're doing what you know you're meant to do. And yet, there's a loneliness to it all. You work in isolation while others sleep. You wish you had people to bounce your ideas off of, a shoulder to lean on when something goes wrong. Others to applaud your achievements, no matter how big or small. People to encourage you to follow your dreams and goals. Solopreneurs, dreamers, builders, creators, resellers, makers, problem solvers. Like-minded people who want something better. We're here, and we're ready to listen and to help. Welcome to the night shift.
Good evening, everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm testing out a new microphone this evening as I'm starting to get all of the technology up to speed here, building sort of an all-new studio for everything for Misty Media. But good evening and welcome to the night shift. If you're like me, you've already had a full day. Maybe your day was at a full-time job. Maybe you were working on your side hustle all day. Maybe you had errands. Maybe you had the kids to take care of. Maybe it was grocery shopping, got food on the table, the laundry done, all those things. And now it's that time of night where the world is starting to go to sleep around you, but you're still up. You're still thinking about what you can do to make your day better tomorrow, what you can do to be more successful for your business tomorrow, and what it looks like to stay motivated. And that's why I've created this space. Welcome to the diner. This diner is sort of the hub of the night shift. This is kind of where we will all hang out. But it's a place for everybody to be able to come and bring their questions. If you're not sure how to do something, how to be more successful at what you're trying to do, or you know what, you've just had a really bad day and you're questioning whether or not it's all worth it. You're wondering, what your next step should be. You want somebody to be able to praise you for the stuff that you've accomplished, and maybe you're like me and you are kind of surrounded by folks who don't quite understand why you're so passionate about what you do. This is the place for that. This is the place for people to pick you up and remind you just exactly why you do what you do. So think of it as a support group for all of us out there that are trying to march to our own beat and do our own thing. And, whether you're an author, whether you're a reseller or a retailer, you're looking to grow a business, you just want something to call your own. That's what all this space is here for. So welcome. I see Carol's here. I see Ashley's here. Thank you so much for being here. My dear author, Kate George, saying, "I looking forward to my edits." Yes, ma'am. I am on it. If people missed my last episode of Misty Media Live, you'll know that I have a crazy vacation from the day job coming up to focus on all things Misty Media between the 16th and the 22nd. Sorry, give me 1 second. Pardon me 1 second while I rescue this cardboard box from my dog. Okay. he doesn't like it when he doesn't get my attention. Um, See, you plan for everything and then something else happens. You make plans and God laughs. Hello, Michael. Good to see you as well. So I'm taking a big break from the day job, the 16th through the 22nd of July, with the hope of catching up every single book that is due. So that's trying to put out 35 books before the end of the year. That is the goal, with 35 of those needing to be prepped in 1 week, July 16th through the 22nd. It's crazy. It's a hell of an ambitious goal, but it's important to the business that I catch it up, and uh, you know keep the authors happy, keep the production running, and keep the publishing schedule constantly moving forward, so I can keep bringing out more and more stuff. And um, I think if anybody had ever told me just how exhausting uh, it would be, hello Lavender. If anybody ever told me how exhausting it would be working 40 to 50 hours in a day job and then trying to run a publishing house at night, um, with whatever energy I have left, it's tough. I don't know about the rest of you out there, but having to split your energy like that between two places is absolutely exhausting. Um, and of course, I'd much rather be giving all my attention to the publishing, uh, but you also have to do what pays the bills until your other jobs take off enough that you don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's the goal, is to get Misty Media where that needs to be, so that I can leave the day job and just focus on it. But then, you know, it's hard to explain that to authors that are, have been waiting to see their books come out, uh, and or get their edits or what have you. And um, I'm not. We've been plagued by a few things in the last 6 to 8 months that I think a lot of people don't normally deal with. The night shift was a discussion between myself and my best friend Sandra Murphy before she passed. Um, the idea was to try to find a place that people could come together uh, and not feel so isolated, which is the way I was constantly feeling, that I was like operating in a vacuum. There were people that didn't really care about what I did for my day job. And then there were people who just completely didn't understand why I was so passionate about the publishing. And it got to be feeling more and more like I was operating inside a bubble. And I had Sandy that I could talk to about it, and she understood. But I wanted to have more like-minded people that were all sort of found themselves in the same situation, um, to be able to come together and boost everybody up. What are you doing now? Oh, that's not good. I thought this was going to go so much smoother, and now my dog is just constantly in the way. Where was I? Yes. So, unfortunately, when Sandy passed, it sort of it no longer felt like I had that, no longer had that person to lean on that understood. Um, I have a husband that doesn't, he's not interested in reading. So he's not interested in books, so he doesn't quite get it. He knows it's important to me, uh, but he doesn't quite understand how important or why it's important. Um, and I think a lot of that is, for me, it's important because I lost it all before. I had a publishing house for 13 years, and I lost the whole thing, and to somebody who had more control in the business than I did, and sold it. And it was about starting over, and making sure that I could start over. And I didn't have the night shift community at the time, but I had Sandy, And Sandy was really kind of a godsend to helping me believe that I could start over. So that's the goal here is we're going to have guests as time goes on, people that are coming in talking about what they do on their side hustles, what keeps them motivated and moving forward. The big function of the night shift is the ability for you to be able to come on and ask questions about anything you're working on, uh, anything you're struggling with, marketing, getting more sales, getting uh, keeping people's interest, um, any of that sort of thing that our community can help you do better. Um, the idea is to have like-minded people that are all interested in building something that's their own, um, and helping other people be successful with theirs as well. I'm a member of a few different groups that, uh, there seemed to be a need for it. I kept hearing the same thing over and over again, which was, yeah, I have these questions. I just don't know where to go to ask them. I don't know who. Hey, Johnny. Wow, you are still up, man. I appreciate you stopping in for that. That is impressive. He's gained 1 hour back, so he is using that hour to his best ability. Oh, that's right. You guys had your meetup today. How did that go? That had to be great seeing everybody and seeing Angie for her birthday. 9 Central. Yeah, it is up pretty much. Anything after 9 is pretty much after your bedtime. So one of the other things I've done is set up the show so that it is Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday nights. It is deliberately the night show, the night shift. I know it's late for a lot of people, but I've spoken to a lot of people who, like me, are up until uh, 11 o'clock at night, midnight, um, still working on their side hustles, still working on their writing, still doing uh, things into the wee hours, uh, and missing that contact that you don't have in the middle of the night. And that's sort of the idea here uh, is that we give that opportunity to be able to get together, and chat and lay out those concerns and those problems, and get answers when you need it on your schedule, when you're focusing on the things that matter to you the most. you know uh, 4 a.m. for, oh my goodness, yikes, 4 a.m. Eek. I don't get to sleep in on my days off anyway, thanks to a certain Labrador monster that requires all my attention. Um, you guys will be hearing a lot about Zeke over the next few weeks as my new software launches. And I do want to say that uh, this channel is in no way monetized. I'm not selling anything here. I don't have some extended 16 course program on how to be a better reseller, or how to sell more stuff. That's just not why I'm here. The whole idea here is Q&A. Get those questions answered that you just might not be able to get from other people because you don't regularly have folks maybe in your field, or that you can reach out to very easily for those answers. So if anybody does have any questions, by all means, please pop them up. We will be doing, as this show progresses, we'll be doing more and more of that, and it'll be more of your show and less of me. The idea being that, again, it's an interactive space for people to be able to come on and talk about what's going on with the business that they're trying to build, the brand they're trying to build for themselves. I'm very much inspired by a guy named Mike Andes. Mike owns a company called Augusta Lawn Care, and he has grown that company significantly into tons and tons of locations. multi-million dollar operation, but he's a guy that's still really, really down to earth. And one of the things that was really important to him was that when he saw success, he wanted to be able to give back to other people that worked in his same kind of field, without having to charge people for it, just to be there as a knowledgeable reference. And so he travels around the country, visiting other uh, service providers, so people that do landscaping and electricians and plumbers, and goes over their business with them and reviews their business with them and shows them ways that they can improve, and things that they can do to be more successful at what they're doing. I've given it a lot of thought, and I was like, I've had some success. I've have a long history, of working in retail management. I've worked for some of the biggest companies. I've run multi-million dollar stores, so I've kind of seen it all. Been there, done that. I've run two publishing houses, so from an author standpoint, I kind of know what's going on there too. Um, so I thought how perfect to be able to give back that knowledge, to everybody that I can, and to create a space where knowledge like that is transferred between people, so that everybody is just a little bit more successful than they were. It's the campfire rule. Let's make everybody that comes in a little better, the same or a little better when they leave. You always want to help people improve. Um, so I know Kay obviously is an author, um, and I know everybody else in the chat are resellers. But I'm curious, what what are you folks doing when you're not working on the business itself that you're involved with? Like Kay, obviously, you're an author. When you're not writing, where do you find that your time sink goes? Uh, Lavender and I work together, with Writers and Publishers Network. Um, I just took over as president, as of July 1st. It's a nonprofit organization, uh, made up of writers, publishers, cover artists, anybody that's involved in the publishing game. Johnny says, R&R thinking of new things to help our community. And Johnny's, if you folks haven't checked out, well, obviously, pretty much everybody in this room has, but at the moment. But if you're watching the replay and you haven't been to Johnny's channels, and watched especially his morning show, um, it's it's a community that's similar to this one, with a very positive message, and I think that's really, really important. Uh, Kay says family. Kay says she stays busy with family, household stuff, friends, and too many doctors. Eesh. So, Kay, when do you find the time to do the stuff that you want to do? It sounds like your daytimes are full. Is it the night shift? Do you find that it's after dark when you have the time to finally work on the stuff you want to work on, or uh, is it trying to cram it in the daytime in between everything else? Because that's what I struggle with. I struggle with having enough energy left after a full day at the day job to be able to come home and focus. Okay, says I try to start writing by 4 o'clock. And how much time do you normally give yourself to write, or do you just write until you feel like you've written everything you can for the evening? Johnny says, "Who? Not me. I get all my work done before 10 a.m. at the latest, and the evening and night is for me." So, I mean, Johnny, you're actually at a stage though in your career where of reselling where you've really got it all dialed in, which is really cool. But you start at like an ungodly hour in the morning. Oh yeah, my day starts between 1 or 2 a.m. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, you're literally that night shift Michael says, I multitask through the day. How, how, how do you do that? Because clearly you've got all these things that are fighting for your attention. So how do you manage to allocate that time throughout a day to be able to make sure that you're not missing taking care of the things that you need to take care of for everything you're involved with? I'm curious. Kay says I'm better later in the day. I'm there's a there's a really interesting study out there about what kind of sleep pattern you have. They compare it to various animals. So there's a there I think it's a lion and a dolphin. Um, I can't remember what some of the others are, but uh, I know that when I took the little exam, they it came up with me as being a dolphin, because dolphins, because of the way their brain works, they never actually switch off. Uh, some part of their brain is always active and always going, and as a result, they don't sleep much, and they're kind of always working on something. Um, and that's me. I find I've got to, if I want to be creative, I've got to be creative earlier in the morning. That's kind of when I have my biggest burst of energy for creative stuff. And night times needs to be more general, like spreadsheets, like stuff that doesn't require a whole lot of thinking. Um, but that's tricky when you have a full time job during the day, and then your side hustle or your side business is one that requires almost complete creativity. So, I end up with 2 days off a week, and I have to look at those 2 days off from the day job and say, how do I get as much creative stuff done as I can, um, with a brain that doesn't want to function on creativity in that time frame, and that's always tricky. Stuart Berman's here. Stu Berman and is a fantastic notary in the Las Vegas area. Um, he's one of my buds. I bet he's coming in on the Facebook side. No, he's in on the YouTube side. Hmm. Um, Michael says I have a KVN switch that flips between work and personal computer. I daily diary work projects, but also allocate time in between for personal projects. You, my friend, are way more organized than I am. Um, but I think that's also part of my goal for this break that I'm doing with the day job, the 16th through the 22nd. I keep mentioning it because I'm really excited about it. I'm The idea of having a full week away from the day job where I can just focus on the publishing the whole time is just really exciting. I'm so looking forward to it. There's people that have been waiting on stuff for me for a long time. Poor Kay has been waiting on her edits forever, um, and it's just like time. It's all time. Um, so there needs to be more hours in a day. We need more than 24 hours in a day. You were on Facebook, but now you're here. Well, awesome. I appreciate that. And of course, if you folks haven't hit that thumbs up, um, uh, and share it out, I really would appreciate it. Again, we are not monetized in any way. I am not out here selling anything. Uh, the whole point is to be here for everyone else. Um, if you are interested in helping to direct the programming of this channel, I am very interested to see where what everybody's interested in having. Scrolling across there is our email address, the nightshift at mistymedia.com. By all means, drop me a line. Tell me what you're interested in us covering on the show. Um, if there's certain people you'd like to see me have on as guests, uh, again, we'll be pulling in guests on a fairly regular basis from all kinds of businesses and communities to come in and talk about what they've gone through with building their businesses. And let's see. Uh, Michael says the only time that doesn't work for me, Jay, is when they fly me all over the country. It's funny you say that, Michael, because um, I used to just absolutely relish plane flights because I could get so much done. I'm trapped at 30,000 feet. I'm not going anywhere. Well, I'm going somewhere, but you know what I mean. Um, but it's going to be hours before I get to wherever, and nobody can reach me. Nobody can bother me with an email or a phone call. I have been so productive on plane flights that I almost wish I traveled more just for that. Kay says there's a far out theory that we all came from a planet with 25-hour days. Uh, envious. I could use that extra hour. Lavender says, I wondered what this would be, if it's just a chat or if we're going to have co-work sessions. The idea is, I figured for the first show, I kind of needed to set everything up so people would kind of understand uh, what's going on and what we're here for. But the idea really is it's co-working. It's bringing uh, it's bringing whatever you've got going on to here and being able to do kind of like a live call-in show. Again, taking some inspiration from Mike Andes, and he's got a call-in show where uh, people call in and they say what's going on with their business or what they're working on and what they're struggling with, and everybody jumps in and gives a hand from with helping to solve those, and that's really what I want here. I like the interview idea because I think it does help. It helps to have real life examples of people who are seeing success in their juggling of their time and what they're trying to accomplish. But I really want this to sort of be a service platform, a way for people to be able to work stuff out, to connect, to network, so you can find other people that are working. There might be somebody who's available that offers a service that's exactly what you need uh, to at the moment to fill a hole in your business. Uh, I really shouldn't say fill a hole when Carol's around. That just is just asking for trouble. Angry Otter says, I sleep on the plane. No, I have to stay awake. That's what keeps the plane in the air. If I go to sleep, there is no telling what could happen after that. So Stu is in an interesting, and I don't think he'll mind me saying, Stu and I were both notaries. He was actually my mentor when I became a notary here in Las Vegas. And Stu was really, really, really busy with real estate notarizations. And I focused more on general notary work stuff like powers of attorney and real basic stuff. He was kind of he did the brainy kind of notarization. But what we found was that when real estate fell off, all of a sudden so did business for us, and there became less and less work. I made the decision this year to not renew my notary commission, which I think I kind of surprised myself by coming to that conclusion. But I figured if I was focused on that, then I wasn't focused on building the publishing house. And that was more critical to me than doing the notary work. The notary work wasn't as fulfilling. I'm still doing wedding, my wedding officiating, but Stu, I know you were struggling there for a bit when the work had kind of dried up. Are you finding that it's recovering now? Are you back to a space where you have breathing room again, or is it still is the notary business still kind of one where it's still flooded with people and it's still difficult to get enough work on a steady basis to be sustainable? I mean, are you looking at having to do something else, or are you actually? Because I mean, you and I had a couple bleak years there where, I mean, things were pretty bad in the notary business. He says it's still a struggle. And that's a service-based industry, but you would think there would always be a market for that sort of thing. But unfortunately, um, you know, the more accessible something is, then uh, the more accessible it is, the more people that enter it, and therefore the more competition you have. Um, and I just found I wasn't willing to keep up with that anymore. To me, that wasn't worth it. Uh, oh, Stu says I got into the Ron side of the business, which is remote online notary work. Where people can go to a notarization platform, and instead of having to hunt down a notary in their area or go to the bank or UPS store or whatever, they can literally go online and get their documents notarized online, which is very cool. Well, I'm glad that's working out for you, Stu, because I know for a while there uh, you were having to do Uber Eats and uh, trying to keep the old roof over your head. And I'm glad to hear that the notary stuff is rebounding, so that you're able to do that uh, as your main gig. Um, and I think uh, looking at who's been in the chat this evening, I know we have a lot of resellers that have been in the chat tonight, and that's I for you guys, what was it like trying to get to the point that you could do it full time? Because I imagine, when you're starting out and you're sourcing and that sort of thing, it's you're still holding on to some sort of day job to pay the bills, uh, while trying to build up your online reselling to be your full time gig. And I'm just curious, like how that what that struggle looked like to be able to get through that. And they may have actually ducked out. They may have all snuck out. Um, and therefore, we won't necessarily get an answer to that question this evening. Reinvesting into the business helps grow, and advertising is key. Yeah, I think it depends on, it's the old thing that money cures everything. But so it's like, yeah, you could be doing advertising, but if you didn't have the money to advertise in the first place, um, it's like, how do you get around that to be able to uh, be effective with that, to be able to get to be able to pay for the advertising when you aren't making the money in the first place to be able to afford the advertising. Yeah, well, it's true. Money and time helps. That was a struggle I had with starting over with the publishing, because I didn't have a dime um, to my name to start over with the publishing. Um, I didn't get anything from the sale of the business. Uh, and so it was literally, trying to to uh, use the day job to fund part of it, and then, while still trying to cover the bills at the same time. So it's that slow growth thing of trying to get started and not having the solid financial base to do it. That's tough. That is tough. Well, folks, I wanted to keep this first night a little short. Mostly just wanted to kind of introduce the night shift and what we were doing. Um, Hopefully, we will be starting in earnest on Wednesday. Uh, Hopefully, folks will be able to be coming by and bringing questions. I will have some topics already lined up, but tonight was just sort of kicking it all off, introducing the night shift. We'll typically go, anywhere between half an hour to an hour, depending on how many folks we have in the chat and what kind of uh, what kind of questions need to get answered, what kind of problems we can solve. Um, do invite other folks to come. Uh, And I'm really looking forward to it being a space for everybody to be able to kind of work together, uh, get solutions, build on their brand, and do what they love to do. So again, thanks folks for tuning in tonight, just as the sort of introduction of where we're all going with this. And I will see you all again Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. Pacific and 10 p.m. Eastern. And I hope all of you folks have a good one.